Hey everybody, Rich from Elk Endeavors here. Hey, today I wanted to talk to you about the fifth personal power principle from Brian Tracy, which is creativity. And once again, we're back to the drawing board in terms of I'm not talking about anything new here, but it's really cool because ultimately we want to make sure that my main focus with this project, this series, is that is that you can see that these are all things that we've been talking about and that I've been talking about throughout this, throughout my YouTube channel, my blog posts, everything like that. I've been talking about this the whole time. And so when we talk about creativity in terms of affiliate entrepreneurship, we want to look at asking questions and curiosity. And that's something for me as someone who's just starting out, someone who was just starting out, and now I've got some skin, I've got a lot of skin in the game, and I've been doing pretty well. But all that came from my curiosity about what it was that I was doing. So initially my curiosity was based in, how do I make some money online? Other people are doing it. How do I do it? Like, why am I, what can I do to get in on this game? And from there, I was looking at things, and then I started taking notes. But I still couldn't find the starting point, which was a really difficult thing for me. I continue to ask questions. I continue to look at things and my search terms in Google, in YouTube and Google. Mostly I worked with YouTube because that's where I'm much better off if I'm listening to someone explain with a screenshot and things like that. So I was learning from YouTube, and that's where most of the big players in affiliate entrepreneurship are. And so, I kept looking and I kept looking. I was curious and asking questions and trying to get them answered, but I couldn't find the first step. And it turns out that the first step was my personal growth. Like it wasn't even about figuring out how to use the tools and how to make money on ClickBank. It was more about how do I change my self-perception to really believe that this is something I can do, and that's where I guess the best way I can put it is that when I started out looking into affiliate entrepreneurship, I was really thinking of, I just want to make a little money online. I want to replace my Uber, salary, which is nothing. I want to be home more. I want to do something I can do at home, and with the equipment that I have. And so that's really, what it came down to. And then from that curiosity, I came into the 4% Success Challenge, which I've said that I don't know honestly how I got there. I don't know, how it targeted me or what, but ultimately I started in on that. And that started me on a journey toward inner understanding. And so I never thought of it. I never thought about the way I thought about myself in terms of my financial self. I believe that I have a financial self and a financial identity. And of my many identities, I have a work identity, I have a home identity, I have I'm a dad, I'm a father. I'm a dad, I'm a son, I'm a husband, I'm a brother. But I'm also a financial being, and I'm an athletic being, or whatever you might call it. But my financial being was completely wrong, right? I saw money as a way to pay bills. So the only reason, when it really boiled down to it, if I was to take away all the other elements of my my work, the work that I've done, and I'm so passionate about it, if I took away all of that, the only thing I was really doing was going to work to pay the bills that I needed to pay in order to maintain my house and my car and all the things that I needed for my family. And take away the passion of my work, and that's all there was to it. But I was falling short. I was falling short $400 or $500 every month, and that's why I needed the extra money. So now, when I look at it, I think that a good way to think about it is I used to think I can't afford this. I'd see something and immediately say I can't afford this, and I would be I probably wouldn't have admitted it to myself, but I was jealous of the people that had it. I look around. on, the Range Rover has become like this sort of like interesting character in my narrative throughout this whole process. And I just saw one back up the street, and they just keep popping up in my life. But the Range Rover was something that I would look at and be like, how does someone afford that? I would never be able to afford that. And I'd be like irritated about the people that can afford it, and that's no way for me to be. So instead of saying I can't afford that, now I say, how can I afford that? And then I go about the creative process of getting to the point where I can afford a Range Rover, or I can afford, I can get those kayaks that I was talking about the other day, right? So my creative imagination, and I'm reading a book called Psycho-Cybernetics right now, which I strongly suggest you get, because it's fascinating and amazing. But and I've read it a couple times now, but one of the things that's really important is that you have, like, I would equate it to your imagination. Your imagination is your imaging ability, right? So you have a creative imagination that ultimately is your imaging ability, and you can convince your brain that something is true by just envisioning it. So with the kayaks, like I continue to envision myself on the water. I can feel the lapping of the water against my kayak, and I can feel the bitter cold, or the coolness in the air. I can hear an owl screeching. I can see the chemical light that I cracked open, so I wouldn't lose my car, my place in the and I can see the stars, and I can feel the emotion of seeing that first shooting star. I can feel all those things, and so what I'm doing is I'm tricking my brain into thinking that this is true, that it's happened. So I do it as in the present moment, like I'm there. This is not something that someday I'll be there. Like, I've already done it in my head. And what I'm doing is I'm working with my subconscious mind creatively to create this like film, to create this memory that I actually, I don't actually have, but my brain doesn't know whether I have it or not, whether it's actually happened or not. That's the whole point. And it's a lot of times, like, if you think about, like, there's certain things that that we do in life that we expand upon, like stories from high school, right, where you're like, I have a story about, and I won't get into it, but like, there's a story about me and my best friend, and we got into a little trouble, and the way we got out of the trouble was by doing something that now that I'm older, like way older, I actually do not remember whether we did the thing that I have told throughout the years, that we did, right? It's it makes for a funny story, but I don't remember if we just thought of it or if we actually did it. I literally do not remember. So in my mind, the memory is that we did this thing, right? It had to do with a cooler, and like this old cooler, and we lost the cooler, and we had to like scuff it up and like make it look like it was old, and so we bought a new one and like threw it around the parking lot a little bit to scuff it up and fool my father, or something like that. So you can read into that whatever you might want to read into it. But my point is that I don't remember. I literally don't remember whether I did that or not. I have no idea. And so in my head, I did it, and that's my creative imagination working, like my imaging ability. So if instead of like thinking imagination, replace that word with imaging ability, then you're off to the races, and that's something that is invaluable to you. So creativity has to do with it, like asking questions, being curious, asking the right people questions, figuring out who to ask, figuring out who will take the time to answer you, and then also providing value. Like when someone asks you a question, like yesterday, my computer's broken. It no longer works, and so I had try being an affiliate entrepreneur online and trying to make build and continue building an online business with no computer. And so I asked, like, on my Facebook group, for the 4% Success Challenge, I asked, should I get a MacBook or should I get a Dell? And many people have many viewpoints on it. And so I don't, and unfortunately they're all they're all the same. They're all like it evens out. Like some people are Mac people, some people are PC people, and so I have like a 50-50 shot at getting it right. And ultimately it boils down to what I know. But my point is that you can ask people, and I provide, like I would have weighed in on that question had someone asked me, and I answer people all the time by providing value, and it's because when I was curious and I needed to ask someone something, people were kind enough to respond to me. So that's another thing, and that's not really part of creativity, but it's part of being, nice and kind, and common sense, right? Common sense, and using your common sense to help other people. So I hope that helps. Please, again, if you like what I'm doing and you're interested in what I have to say, please subscribe. Ask me questions. Respond to my posts, my YouTube channel, my Medium channel. I'm really excited about it, and I'm looking forward to helping as many people as I can. If you're interested in the 4% Success Challenge, I highly recommend going and taking a look at it. You cannot beat the education that you'll get. And what you'll learn in order to not only, it's worth the price of admission just to learn about yourself, even if you don't even do the affiliate marketing stuff. It's a course in self-perception, self-reliance, all those different things. It's just absolutely fantastic. So my life has changed in the last 7 months considerably, and I'm just very excited about it. So I want to help everyone else. I feel a responsibility to get this into everybody's hands because it's necessary. So hope that helps. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks a lot for watching.